Is that one rolling?
Yep.
All right. Hello, everyone. Today we are doing lesson 42, which is God is my strength, vision is his gift, and chapter 5, healing and wholeness, section 2, the voice for God. And as Alex found out, if you're looking at this stuff online, it might be section 3. All right, let's begin. Section 2, the voice for God. Healing is not creating, it is reparation. The Holy Spirit promotes healing by looking beyond it to what the children of God were before healing was needed, and will be when they have been healed. This alteration of the time sequence should be quite familiar, because it is very similar to the shift in the perception of time that the miracle introduces. The Holy Spirit is the motivation for miracle-mindedness, the decision to heal the separation by letting it go. Your will is still in you because God placed it in your mind, and although you can keep it asleep, you cannot obliterate it. God himself keeps your will alive by transmitting it from his mind to yours as long as there is time. The miracle itself is a reflection of this union of will between Father and Son. Not getting what that's saying right now, so please continue, Alex.
The Holy Spirit is the Spirit of joy. He is the call to return with which God blessed the minds of his separated sons. This is the vocation of the mind. The mind had no calling until the separation, because before that it had only being, and would not have understood the call to right thinking. The Holy Spirit is God's answer to the separation, the means by which the atonement heals until the whole mind returns to creating.
Is it either of these saying anything to you? Because I'm not comprehending them.
Well, yes, it's talking about the separation of the mind. And the separation of the mind can be viewed, for example, in the Garden of Eden, there was a separation that occurred because there was a belief that something had gone wrong. And before that, it was understood that all things are perfect. And so this is talking about healing of the mind, and how healing wasn't necessary until there was the separation of the mind.
Until we had the belief that we had done something wrong.
Until we had the belief that we had either done something wrong or that something had gone wrong.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my head's hurting, so I'm having a hard time comprehending what I'm reading. The principle of atonement and the separation began at the same time. When the ego was made, God placed in the mind the call to joy. This call is so strong that the ego always dissolves at its sound. That is why you must choose to hear one of two voices within you. One you made yourself, and the one is not of God.
That one.
Oh, yeah. One you made yourself, and that one is not of God, but the other is given you by God, who asks you only to listen to it. The Holy Spirit is in you in a very literal sense. His is the voice that calls you back to where you were before and will be again. It is possible even in this world to hear only that voice and no other. Okay, what I'm getting from that so far is an understanding of the fact that when we stop listening to our egoic beliefs, we start listening to Holy Spirit. That it is possible to stop hearing those egoic thoughts, those egoic judgments constantly. That we only go into hearing Holy Spirit at some point, is what I'm getting from that.
Right. This is a undoing process, and what we're undoing is the ego thought system. And as we are undoing the ego thought system, we are aligning ourselves with God's thoughts, true thoughts.
Yeah, and I've noticed that for myself, the more I become the observer instead of the projector, the more I'm hearing only Holy Spirit. And I'm not willingly stepping forward into that egoic mindset of judging everyone and everything. I still have my moments though. Like earlier today, I had heard a video of some young thing thinking she knew it all, talking about teenage pregnancies and how a woman shouldn't be getting pregnant and having kids. You know, they should be aiming toward being porn stars and doctors and other things like porn stars. I was like, wow, this young lady must want to be a porn star. And just her diatribe honestly had me feeling and reacting in a very egoic way, saying either her parents should have kept it wrapped or swallowed or something. Because that was just saying, you know, how can you say you love this child that's just been born when you don't know if they're going to be Osama bin Laden or some terrorist? It's like, hello? So I was reacting, in a very egoic way hearing that. It's like, I have my moments, just like everybody else. I am not awakened. I'm not enlightened here. So please don't think that I am in any way, because I'm not. I'm no different from you.
I think you're more awake and more enlightened than you think you are.
I would say thank you to that. The only issue I see with it is that would make me different, better, less than others. And it doesn't make me feel equal.
No, this goes back to the whole analogy that is used either of stairs or a ladder, that just because we're all equal doesn't mean we're all in the same stair step or the same ladder rung.
That I can agree with. It's like, seeing a valley where there's a bunch of soldiers going at it. And what comes to my mind would be like the Battle of Hastings back in, the 16th century or something, where the commanders are up on the hillsides watching the battle down below them. And if I'm right, that was one of the battles where he was saying, don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes. And that kind of understanding that's being given to me is that at some point we will no longer be in the thick of the battle. We will be out there on the outer perimeters, up on the hillsides, looking down with a higher view of what's happening. So we're no longer in the thick of it. We're able to witness it without being part of it.
To be above the battlefield.
Thank you. To be above the battlefield. And that's how I've been seeing a lot of things lately, as being above the battlefield, not right in the middle of it. All right, I'm continuing on with this paragraph. So we're going to go back to sentence number 9, which I had just read. It is possible even in this world to hear only that voice and no other. It takes effort and great willingness to learn. It is the final lesson that I learned, and God's sons are as equal as learners as they are as sons. So, wow, that is the final lesson. So yeah, I'm getting to that point where all I'm doing is hearing his voice. I'm less willing to step into my egoic beliefs anymore. I'm changing those out for the truth. Alex?
You are the kingdom of heaven, but you have let the belief in darkness into your mind, and so you need a new light. The Holy Spirit is the radiance that you must let banish the idea of darkness. His is the glory before which disassociation falls away, and the kingdom of heaven breaks through into its own. Before the separation, you did not need guidance. You knew as you will know again, but as you do not know now.
So, okay, this is making more sense to me now. One of the things that I have found for myself is that the more that I go within to Holy Spirit and ask for these corrections, the more I witness the truths out there in the world around me. And the less I'm needing to keep asking for His guidance, His truth, His understanding, His corrections in everything as I am witnessing what my brothers are saying and doing and how they're acting. And the more I am able to discern His truth from the egoic truth that they're believing in, the better able I am to see the truth for what it is and not enact it myself. That egoic belief that they are relying on as being true. Does that make sense, honey? Yeah. Okay. All right, moving on. God does not guide because He can share only perfect knowledge. Guidance is evaluative because it implies there is a right way and also a wrong way, one to be chosen and the other to be avoided. By choosing one, you give up the other. The choice for the Holy Spirit is the choice for God. God is not in you in a literal sense. You are part of Him. When you choose to leave Him, He gave you a voice to speak for Him because He could no longer share His knowledge with you without hindrance. Direct communication was broken because you had made another voice. And what I'm getting from that is we had made our egoic voices of judgments, opinions, fears, shame, guilt. Alex?
The Holy Spirit calls you both to remember and to forget. You have chosen to be in a state of opposition in which opposites are possible. As a result, there are choices you must make. In the holy state, the will is free, so that its creative power is unlimited and choice is meaningless. Freedom to choose is the same power as freedom to create, but its application is different. Choosing depends on a split mind. The Holy Spirit is one way of choosing. God did not leave His children comfortless, even though they chose to leave Him. The voice they put in their minds was not the voice of His will, for which the Holy Spirit speaks.
So basically, He's telling us that we have free will. We have the free will to choose who we're going to listen to, our egoic voice or Holy Spirit's voice. We have that choice, and we are the ones making that choice every day, every minute of the day. Who are we going to listen to? And once we choose Holy Spirit, we find that we are supported in everything. We are comforted in everything. There is nothing that we cannot have, that we will not be given. And it's us making that choice and that decision to go within to Holy Spirit. But we have to choose and choose Him over our egoic beliefs. Moving on. The voice of the Holy Spirit does not command because it is incapable of arrogance. It does not demand because it does not seek control. It does not overcome because it does not attack. It merely reminds. It is compelling only because of what it reminds you of. It brings to your mind the other way, remaining quiet even in the midst of the turmoil you may make. The voice for God is always quiet because it speaks of peace. Peace is stronger than war because it heals. War is division, not increase. No one gains from strife. What profiteth it a man if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? If you listen to the wrong voice, you have lost sight of your soul. You cannot lose it, but you cannot know it. It is therefore lost to you until you choose right. Okay, so there's something that it's saying here, that Holy Spirit does not command, he does not demand, he will not overcome, and he does not attack. And all of these things are true. He merely reminds us. Now, I have talked about how I have had Holy Spirit yell at me. Yeah. And he can and he does and he will yell at you. There's no reason why he can't do that. It's limiting him if I say he can't do that. He's not allowed to do that. Because that simply isn't true. And I've stated before that when he yelled at me, it was when I was going off the deep end, stating how I was refusing to be a teacher of God, how I was refusing to be anybody's student. And literally, he yelled at me when I kept going on and on and on and wouldn't shut up. He yelled at me and told me, I do not have a choice in this. I will be a teacher of teachers because that is going to be my function. That is my function and I don't have a choice in it. Would you say that that is true, Alex?
Yes, I would.
It's like in everything. Couple of times in my life I've been told that my life path number is a 22 and I'm this and I'm that and this is what this means and this is what that means and this is what your purpose is going to be. And I was like, oh, hell no. I disagree with that. I am not going to be any of those things. I'm a follower. I'm not a leader. Yeah, I was lying to myself. Alex?
The Holy Spirit is your guide in choosing. He is in the part of your mind that always speaks for the right choice, because he speaks for God. He is your remaining communication with God, which you can interrupt but not destroy. The Holy Spirit is the way in which God's will is done on earth as it is in heaven. Both heaven and earth are in you, because the call to both is in your mind. The voice for God comes from your own altars to him. These altars are not things, they are devotions. Yet you have other devotions now. Your divided devotion has given you the two voices, and you must choose at which altar you want to serve. The call you answer now is an evaluation because it is a decision. The decision is very simple. It is made on the basis of which call is worth more to you.
Okay, so that's making some sense that we are given a choice between who we're going to follow, ego or Holy Spirit. And we have set up two separate altars within ourselves, one that Holy Spirit is at and one that our ego is at. And which one do we find to have more value? Our egoic beliefs or the things Holy Spirit would have us know? And this is part of the thing that we are being taught to do, is to let go of the valueless. Let go of these things that we've been taught to believe are true. And accept Holy Spirit's truth in lieu of them. All right, moving on. My mind will always be like yours because we were created as equals. Wow, first sentence. This, folks, right here, this is part of the reason why I cannot see Jesus as anything other than a man. He is my equal. He is not better than me. He is not worse than me. He does not stand anywhere above me or below me.
Except on the ladder.
Even there, I don't see that. I see Holy Spirit as being above me. But, that's just for me, that I see him as my equal. That I see him as nothing more than a man that learned who he was.
See, it's just like climbing a mountain. You can't climb the mountain if you've never climbed the mountain before. But if you have a guide who has climbed the mountain and can lend you a hand and help you up step by step, that guide can bring you to the top of the mountain.
But why can't we get to the top of that mountain ourselves? Why do we have to have a...
Because someone else has already climbed that mountain, and his name is Jesus.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me, babe.
Okay. Climb the mountain yourself. See how it goes.
Well, I have been, and it's been going pretty damn well with Holy Spirit.
No, you haven't. Holy Spirit's been helping you up that
Yeah.
mountain.
But I'm not turning to a man to help me. I'm turning to Holy Spirit.
Okay.
And that's
your choice.
That has been my choice.
Yeah.
Every step of the way has always been Holy Spirit.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people, whereas this path is primarily through Jesus, not through Holy Spirit.
I know, and I'm not downing that at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
All right.
As I was stating, it states right here in this first sentence, this is part of the reason why I can't see Jesus as anything more than equal to me, because it states right here, my mind will always be like yours because we were created as equals.
I never said you were not equal. I never said that you weren't equal with your brothers. We're all equal with everyone, but it doesn't mean that we're on the same step of the stairs or same rung of the ladder.
Yeah, what I keep getting a mental picture of is that for each step I go up the ladder, I'm bringing everybody with me.
Exactly. And you can't help anyone else up the ladder unless you have an understanding greater than them and share that understanding with them. That's what this is all about.
I'm not taking it as that. What I'm taking it as is more of as I learn it and it comes to me, it's automatically extended to my brothers.
That's because you're sharing it in these videos that we're doing right here.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's, how do I explain this? That every time that I get a revelation come to me, that I don't even have to really say anything to anyone about it but you, and it's as if the world outside of me starts reflecting it back at me. So that's what I'm talking about, is that I'm not having to share it with anyone else out there.
But you are sharing it.
With you.
Yes, and then I'm sharing it.
Oh, well then I don't know about you sharing it, but I know that I share it with you, and suddenly I see it reflected out there on Facebook and other places.
And you're doing more than sharing it with me, you're sharing it in these videos.
Yeah, now, but it's after the fact. And it's when I'm already seeing it happening in the world around me too. But that's been my experience, is that as I get the revelation, then shortly thereafter I start seeing it in the world around me.
That's because the outer world is a projection of an inward condition. So as you heal your mind, you heal the world.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to get across here, babe, is that I had a lot of issues when we first started doing this course, because everything that I was hearing was telling me that you were going to go poof in a puff of smoke and disappear and leave me here in my pain and misery by myself.
Well, what you were hearing was the interpretations of teachers that misperceived what the Course was saying.
I understand that. But at that time, I did not know that. And I had great fears about that stuff. And Holy Spirit has since then corrected my misperception, saying that no one is going to wake up before anyone else, that we will all wake up together.
Yeah, I never said we weren't.
And that for everything that I am awoken to, it is automatically given to my brothers. That's what he was telling me. That as soon as I gain that understanding, my brothers will get it as well.
Again, that's because the outside world is an outer projection of an inward condition.
I know.
As you heal your mind, you heal the world.
I know. And so what I'm being told, though, is that I need do nothing. I need not talk to anyone, and it will simply happen.
Okay.
That's what I keep getting told.
Okay. That may be true.
That's exactly what he's been telling me, that I need do nothing. I don't even have to do a video. I don't have to open my mouth about any of it.
Then why are
I
you
just
doing,
hold it.
Then why are you doing these videos?
Because this is what he would have me do.
Okay.
The thing is I need not make any efforts to change anybody's mind. I need not do any of those types of things, is what I'm being told.
All right.
It's the proverbial spinning of the wheels to do those types of things, is what he says.
Okay.
So let's go back up to this first sentence and start through this again. My mind will always be like yours because we were created as equals. It was only my decision that gave me all power in heaven and earth. My only gift to you is to help you make the same decision. This decision is the choice to share it because the decision itself is the decision to share. It is made by giving and is therefore the one choice that resembles true creation. I am your model for decision. By deciding for God, I showed you that this decision can be made and that you can make it. So, as we were just discussing here, it's making that choice to see with Holy Spirit's vision. And as I was just saying to Alex, it's making the choice to share it. Although I am getting told that I do not have to do anything. I do not have to share it outright with anyone. In looking at the world differently, reacting differently, I'm extending it. When my brothers come to me with their misperceptions, in those moments I can share the truth of my understanding. But I don't have to seek them out. I don't have to make a point of trying to share with anyone else. I don't have to pull anybody kicking and screaming into the light. That everyone gets a choice in this. And just by being there in the moment and sharing of my experience, I am helping them to see it differently and to make that choice and a decision for themselves. But I can't do that unless they come to me asking for it first. Alex?
I have assured you that the mind that decided for me is also in you, and that you can let it change you just as it changed me. This mind is unequivocal because it hears only one voice and answers in only one way. You are the light of the world with me. Rest does not come from sleeping, but from waking. The Holy Spirit is the call to awaken and be glad. The world is very tired because it is the idea of weariness. Our task is the joyous one of waking to it, to the call for God.
Waking to it?
Waking it to the call for God.
Okay. Okay.
Everyone will answer the call of the Holy Spirit, or the sonship cannot be as one. What better vocation could there be for any part of the kingdom than to restore it to the perfect integration that can make it whole? Hear only this through the Holy Spirit within you, and teach your brothers to listen as I am teaching you.
So, in a lot of ways, folks, this is exactly what Alex and I are doing now. We are extending to you the truth of what we have experienced and how we are being shown the truth. And how it is that we are being shown and taught to listen to that voice within. To stop seeking outside of ourselves for every little thing that other people are saying, and only go within to what it is that He would have us do, what He would have us say, what He would have us hear, what He would have us believe and see. And it's in extending to you all, like we are now with these videos, we are extending to you a way of listening to that voice within you, of learning to choose and choose differently between the voices that you're hearing, to no longer continue listening to the voice of the ego. Continuing on. When you are tempted by the wrong voice, call on me to remind you how to heal by sharing my decision and making it stronger. As we share this gold, we will increase its power to attract the whole sonship and to bring it back into the oneness in which it was created. Remember that yoke means join together and burden means message. Let us restate, my yoke is easy and my burden light in this way. Let us join together, for my message is light. Wow. So, growing up, I can remember being told that a yoke was something to confine me and hold me in place. It was like a restraining collar. And a burden was this heavy thing that I had to carry around on my back and feel shame and guilt about all my days. And here it's telling me that a yoke means for me to join together with my brothers, and that a burden is actually a message. And so joining together with my brother should be easy, and the message he has me share is all about love and light. Totally different from what I was taught to believe. Probably totally different from what many of us have been taught to believe. Alex.
I have enjoined you to behave as I behaved, but we must respond to the same mind to do this. This mind is the Holy Spirit, whose will is for God always. He teaches you how to keep me as the model for your thought and behave like me as a result. The power of our joint motivation is beyond belief, but not beyond accomplishment. What we can accomplish together has no limits, because the call for God is the call to the unlimited. Child of God, my message is for you, to hear and give away as you answer the Holy Spirit within you.
So basically, this is Jesus telling us that He is trying to get us to willingly make the choices and decisions that He made when He was here in bodily form. To go within to Holy Spirit and listen to His voice and only His voice. To walk in his footsteps, literally walk in his footsteps, be like him in going within to Holy Spirit and only Holy Spirit.
Hence the phrase, what would Jesus do?
Exactly. And it's only by us choosing that we will be able to come into our Christ mind as Jesus did. It's making that choice and decision to go into Holy Spirit, folks. All of this is reverberating around us going within to Holy Spirit. And in everything in here that Jesus is talking to us about doing is going within to Holy Spirit. He has said it in every chapter and every lesson for us to go within to the Holy One. Every single one. That should be telling us something, that it's not just listening to his words and doing as he says, it's going within to our own guide, so we no longer have to keep looking to him for the answers. So we no longer have to look outside of ourselves for the answers from anyone. He is stepping up to show us how to go within to Holy Spirit. He's only helping us on the first few steps, folks. We need to start learning how to walk on our own. Just like that infant. When you start off with that baby, they are laying there. Then they're learning how to roll over. Then they're learning how to squirm across the floor because they're not crawling quite yet. Then they learn the crawl. Then to sit up. Then to stand up. And then to walk while holding on to the table or holding on to your hands until finally they learn how to walk on their own. Well, at this point, we are basically holding on to his hands or holding on to that wall or that table as we try to walk down the runway, so to speak. And in everything, we are just learning baby steps. As a matter of fact, Alex and I were talking about this earlier when we were on our way back here to the house from the chiropractor, that we are being forced to do everything in baby steps. He will not permit us to take giant leaps, especially if we are not ready for it. Correct?
Correct.
All right, let's move on to lesson 42. God is my strength, vision is his gift. The idea for today combines two very powerful thoughts, both of major importance. It also sets forth a cause and effect relationship that explains why you cannot fail in your efforts to achieve the goal of the course. You will see, because it is the will of God. It is his strength, not your own, that gives you power. And it is his gift, rather than your own, that offers vision to you. Alex?
God is indeed your strength, and what he gives is truly given. This means that you can receive it anytime and anywhere, wherever you are, and in whatever circumstance you find yourself. Your passage through time and space is not at random. You cannot but be in the right place at the right time. Such is the strength of God. Such are his gifts.
So what I'm getting from that is that basically in everything we are fully supported, and everything comes to us at the right time, the right place. We just need to have faith and trust that we are supported in everything. And he does not give us more than we can bear. And everything that He has given us is for our benefit. It is a gift. We just simply keep judging it as being other than what it is. We are in constant and continuous conflict over what it is we think is or is not happening to us, around us, and through us. All right, moving on. We will have 2 3 to 5 minute practice periods today, as soon as possible after you wake, and another as close as possible to the time you go to sleep. It is better, however, to wait until you can sit quietly by yourself at a time when you feel ready than it is to be concerned with the time as such.
So in other words, don't worry about necessarily doing it as soon as you awake or right before you go to sleep. It's better to wait until you can sit quietly by yourself at a time when you feel ready.
Okay. Yeah, that sounded twisted to me. Go ahead.
Begin these practice periods by repeating the idea for today slowly, with your eyes open, looking about you. Then close your eyes and repeat the idea again, even slower than before. After this, try to think of nothing except thoughts that occur to you in relation to the idea for the day. You might think, for example, vision must be possible. God gives truly. Or, God's gifts to me must be mine because He gave them to me.
Okay. Any thought that is clearly related to the idea for today is suitable. You may in fact be astonished at the amount of course-related understanding some of your thoughts contain. Let them come without censoring unless you find your mind is merely wandering and you have let obviously irrelevant thoughts intrude. You may also reach a point where no thoughts at all seem to come to mind. If such interferences occur, open your eyes and repeat the thought once more while looking slowly about. Close your eyes, repeat the idea once more, and then continue to look for related thoughts in your mind. And you will find, folks, that there will be moments where you have absolutely no thought. Your mind goes completely blank. Or you have just a mixed mash of thoughts coming into your mind from different events that have happened in the day, through your life, whatever. And you will find that in those moments when stuff like that starts happening, you may need to open your eyes and state the lesson again to yourself. That God is my strength. Vision is His gift. And in doing so, just start over. If at first you don't succeed, try again. The little engine that could keeps coming up as being a voice of reason here. All right, Alex.
I'll read the next paragraph and then you read the last two. Remember, however, that active searching for relevant thoughts is not appropriate for today's exercises. Try merely to step back and let the thoughts come. If you find this difficult, it is better to spend the practice period alternating between slow repetitions of the idea with the eyes open than with eyes closed than it is to strain to find suitable thoughts.
Yeah, so if you're having difficulty with it, don't push it. As he says here, just open your eyes and just keep repeating the idea for the day. And when you do so, just recognize that nothing has gone wrong. Everything is perfect and as it needs to be. Don't be overly harsh on yourself, folks. You are about a month and a half into this course. And you got a whole year of things to look at. Other chances to do these things that it's asking you to do. Because you'll be able to do it multiple times throughout this year, guaranteed. All right, moving on. There is no limit on the number of short practice periods that would be beneficial today. The idea for the day is a beginning step in bringing thoughts together and teaching you that you are studying a unified thought system in which nothing is lacking that is needed, and nothing is included that is contradictory or irrelevant. The more often you repeat the idea during the day, the more often you will be reminding yourself that the goal of the course is important to you and that you have not forgotten it. So, as we've been saying, do the work. Even if you're not understanding everything, even if you don't fully, wholeheartedly believe in it, do the work. It's the repetition that shows you the truth of what it is that's being said. It is doing the lessons in and of themselves as they are being stipulated to be done that begins to show you the truth of what is being said. And it's only in doing them that you will be given the truth, folks. In doing the lessons and asking for the corrections. If at first you do not succeed, try again. All right, this was lesson 42. God is my strength, vision is his gift. With chapter 5, healing and wholeness. With the voice for God, which is section 2. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sabrina Reyenga.
And I am Alex Reyenga.
Have a wonderful day. Remember to do the lesson right after you wake up and just before going to bed. Try to find a quiet place to do them, if and when possible. You know, it's not always necessary to need it, but it is recommended. You can do these throughout the day, as we were talking about yesterday. You can have them playing in the back of your mind throughout the day. That is helpful and beneficial. Even if you don't find the time to be able to sit there and close your eyes and meditate on it for a few minutes, because that's essentially what you'll be doing, is meditating on it. So don't be hard on yourselves if you have trouble focusing in clearing your thoughts and bringing into mind the things that he's asking you to bring into mind. It'll happen. Just trust that it will, and it will. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Again, thank you for joining us. Hugs, love, and light. Namaste.